BÁTORIČKA, The Bloodlusts of ERZSÉBET'S Bathory, Act 6, Scene 1. The verdict and execution of ERZSÉBET'S inner circle after 5 days of trial and testimonies at BÁTORIČKA Castle. Thousands of angry spectators are gathered in the immense courtyard. Monday, 7th of January, 1611. Seated at the main table in the snowy square and surrounded by hundreds of Count Thurzo's blue uniformed soldiers are Theodose Rimsky, the Judge Royal from Presburg, Count George Thurzo, Sir Imre Magyari the Red. Seated opposite and to one side of the 20 lesser judges are Georgi Zavodsky, the chief prosecutor, Moses Siraki for the prosecution, Andras Kirtz-Jury for the prosecution, Daniel Erdog, a scribe, taking the minutes of the proceedings, Kaspar Bajaki, chief inquirer, Kaspar Kardos, clerk of the court, Kaspar Nagy, representing the church. Manacled together and shackled in an open cart and wearing scold's collars, surrounded by burning braziers and stern spearmen, are Helena Joe, Dorko, Fisco, Katapinitsky. Amongst the 6 dozen shivering co-defendants chained together in a holding pen, including all housekeepers and estate workers, are Jacob Silvasi, Benedict Desio, Daniel Vass, Andras Podorovic, Sir Balthazar Poki, Mrs. Janos Bassoni and Mrs. Janos Zabo. Amongst the 32 solemn witnesses seated on a cold podium are Ladislas Sari, Gregory Balzacs with his daughter Lisa, Pastor Panikinus, Kaspar Govacs, Margaret and Ambrose Zabo, and Hernath and Gvari. Georgi Savodsky. You've heard from this maid the ordeal she's been through, who escaped through the glade with a blade through her shoe. That she speaks to this court shows immense heroism, as they made her resort to self-cannibalism. And you've heard from voyeurs observed raping of minors by these 4 employers with hot spikes in vaginas. Peeping Tom employees say that some been seduced like boyar VIPs joined in the abuse. They've pushed pins into fingers, flayed skin off with whips, and those 4 filthy figures sliced off eyelids and lips. See that culpable look as they all played a part. Seer swears by the book it's that quad in the cart. Yes, there was collusion, but few had a choice. Now for its conclusion, your honour, your voice. Kaspar Nagy. And so the bell tolls for the time tellest thy verdict, yet we seek save a soul as the church think it's worth it. Our agent, aged Kata, regrets what she's done. For her valuable data, could she just be a nun? The others attested Benitsky's benign, and Forgash has suggested God's house be confined. Judge Zurinsky. I've reached a decision, which is one of guilt. Under strict supervision, you'll pay to the hilt. I serve now this sentence, as sin cited so rougher, in redressing repentance as Jesus you'll suffer. Stop that toothsome screaming, it's late for remorse. The hags are daydreaming, think I'd alter course. I'll address first the pen, holding servants who served her, and identified 10 who most helped her murder. Tear from them their tongue, out of henchlings complicit, then get the 10 hung and flung in a gibbet. My rulings, the rest will lose your positions, and as you've confessed, you'll forfeit possessions. Plus 2 years you'll toil, for families in sorrow, like ploughing their soil and starting tomorrow. You'll graft for them free and reap what you've sown. 2 years by decree is the time to atone. And now to her closest, whose worst set of creeds committed the grossest and most of the deeds. The things you've admitted, your crimes, say the claim, sees history littered in Hungary's shame. It's my most troublous tried in any past case, souring Nadasti's pride in downright disgrace. It hath blackened the Bathory name to the finish, tarnished through time as that taint won't diminish. 650 girls that we know, as the fact finding's misty, that number may grow. The offences we've heard turns the stoutest to greenish, that even the Turk would not do things so fiendish. Thus, these 2 wailing cronies, from what we have learnt of the trial's testimonies, are both getting burnt. Hand bellow those fires for these 2 callous killers, to heat up the pliers for wrenching out fingers. In hope give them a taste of the pain they've inflicted, then mush each foul face of the convicts convicted. Whence finger and faceless and placed on the pyre, this hearing is aimless and we can retire. But first the last, the imp, making magistrates nervous, that simpering simp in Lucifer's service. Just chop off its head, throw the rest in the fire, as I don't need the dread of a hobgoblin's ire. I won't have the bind of dwarfish lament, and cat of the kind, it's the clink for convent. And a grant to McGarry, whose myth there's one missed, I'll let his lad Sari in their torture assist. Ladislas. Grit thy gums, Cocus, this doubtless will smart. Yon tongues are aglow, so let's make a start. And don't be impatient, this will take a while. Thy woe is thy payment for Malika's smile.